Welcome to the Sports News Analysis YouTube page. The latest BCS standings were released tonight with no real surprises. The top 9 in the BCS standings remain the same. Everyone kind of held court this weekend in their games with some big games, rivalry games this weekend. The top teams came out unscathed. We thought we'd take some time to make some predictions on how we see this BCS bowl picture unfolding here as we come close to the last week of the regular season next week. Several conference championship games, some regular season matchups that will determine how the BCS picture unfolds. So we thought we'd just make some predictions on how we see it going. First with the big game, the BCS National Championship game, which will be played in Miami this year. There's one slot in this game already solidified, and that is well deserved. And we'll go to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who beat USC in a pretty exciting game last night. We never thought the game was really in doubt. We thought Notre Dame was in firm control. And hey, look, they deserve to be in the national championship game. They're the only undefeated team in the country. So as far as who they'll play, well, it's pretty much well known now, and the BCS standings kind of confirm that. It looks like the winner of the SEC championship game between Alabama and Georgia will play Notre Dame in the BCS national championship game. We see Alabama prevailing next week over Georgia in the SEC championship game. So our BCS national championship prediction will be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. There'll be a lot of time to preview that game, which we'll get to in the next 7 weeks, I guess, leading up to the game. But just real quick, the ratings for that game will be absolutely astronomical. And, hey, try buying a ticket for that game with the Notre Dame's national presence and, you know, them playing against one of the powerhouse programs in the country should be exciting. But on to our other predictions. We'll take the Orange Bowl first. The Orange Bowl this year is going to pit the ACC champion versus the Big East champion. The ACC championship game will be this weekend, and it'll be Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Florida State, while we don't think they're a great team, we certainly think they're leaps and bounds ahead of Georgia Tech, and I don't think we're going out on a limb by saying we fully expect Florida State to win this weekend and punch their ticket to the Orange Bowl. The Big East picture is a little more muddled. Technically, there's 3 teams that have the ability to advance to the Orange Bowl. That being Louisville, Rutgers, Syracuse, or Cincinnati as well. So 4 teams from the Big East actually have the opportunity to advance to the Orange Bowl. Big game this week will be Rutgers playing Louisville on Thursday night. Rutgers controls their own destiny, so if they win, they get in. We actually expect Rutgers to win that game on Thursday against Louisville, so we think the whole tiebreaker, highest BCS ranked team advances to the Orange Bowl. We think that situation is going to be avoided altogether, and we like Rutgers to advance out of the Big East to the Orange Bowl. So your Orange Bowl, as far as I see it, will be Florida State representing the ACC and Rutgers representing the Big East. The Sugar Bowl. The Sugar Bowl is going to pit an SEC team versus an at-large. Since we have Alabama slated into the BCS National Championship game, we, basically that leaves Florida to be the SEC representative in the Sugar Bowl. It's kind of bad luck for Georgia. I mean, it's almost as though they do have a bigger prize, though, potentially. So, they're not going to complain about having a chance to play for the BCS National Championship. But the way we see it is that Florida will represent the SEC, and the at-large in this game, we see it being Oklahoma. Oklahoma will be, we feel, when all is said and done, be a second-place team in the Big 12. And our Sugar Bowl pick is Florida taking on Landry Jones and company in Oklahoma. That would be an interesting game. It would kind of be a very stout defensive team versus a team with a high-powered offense. But we've seen Oklahoma in these games before, and the end results haven't been too good. But again, we'll have plenty of time to preview these games and let you know our thoughts. As far as the Rose Bowl goes, it'll be a Big Ten team, obviously, versus a Pac-12 team, as it has been for 100 years, I think. But the Big Ten this year, kind of a curious case. Ohio State, obviously ineligible, is the first place team in the Big Ten. Penn State, second place team in the Big Ten, not eligible as well. That means our Big Ten championship game will be Wisconsin and Nebraska. We give Nebraska the edge in this game, and we think Nebraska will be representing the Big Ten in the Rose Bowl. As far as the Pac-12 goes, this week's Pac-12 championship game is a rematch of last week's game between Stanford and UCLA. I think it's tough to beat the same team 2 weeks in a row, but we see Stanford being able to pull it off. So we like Stanford over UCLA in this week's Pac-12 championship game. So our Rose Bowl pick will be Nebraska out of the Big Ten, Stanford out of the Pac-12. The Fiesta Bowl, which is going to pit the Big 12 winner versus an at-large. Since we already gave you Oklahoma as an at-large in the Sugar Bowl, that means you probably already came to the conclusion that we see Kansas State taking care of business this upcoming weekend against Texas and solidifying their spot as the Big 12 champions. So we like Kansas State as the Big 12 representative. And once you shake out all of the other teams that are left, you have one lost team left, and that will be the Oregon Ducks. And we see the Oregon Ducks representing the Pac-12 in the Fiesta Bowl. So again, our Fiesta Bowl pick, we like Oregon as an at-large and Kansas State to take care of business again against Texas, who had a rough loss this past weekend against TCU. And we see Kansas State being a little too much for them this weekend. It might actually be an exciting game, Kansas State and Oregon. And again, just to run it down real quick, our Fiesta Bowl, we like Kansas State versus an at-large Oregon. The Rose Bowl, we like Nebraska winning the Big Ten championship versus Stanford out of the Pac-12. The Sugar Bowl, we like a one-loss Florida as the SEC representative in the Sugar Bowl versus Oklahoma. In the Orange Bowl, we like ACC champion Florida State versus who we think will be the Big East champion in Rutgers. And last, in our BCS National Championship game, we think Alabama prevails over Georgia and faces Notre Dame down in Miami for all the marbles. Thanks for listening, and hit us up in the comments or hit us up on our Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. That's at SNewsAnalysis. Thank you.